Coach, how you
Danny
guys?
Wilson and his availability for tomorrow.
Shay, no update
Okay.
except he will be here. He will be here in the morning.
Okay.
We're going to need to get him here pretty early because we have an early practice time at 11:30. So I anticipate him being in Indy by 9:30 or 10.
Hey, Coach, what would it have to take for Jalen to potentially play? Is there protocols that would need to be met in order for him to suit up for Monday night?
No, he's suiting up. He'll suit up. If he's here, he's suiting up. You know, what it'd take for him. And I anticipate him getting in the game. I don't know how much he'll play. You know, he's going to be rusty. He's going to be fatigued. He's going to be far less than 100%. But, you know, he can rebound the ball and do some things. So, you know, he may play 3 minutes. He may play 10 minutes. He may play 15. I don't know. David has an advantage over him because David was able to be here and do the heart monitor stuff during practice and all those things. And even though he played much more than I thought he would, you could tell with his conditioning and everything, he really didn't have lingering side effects. So we don't know what it'll be like with Jalen yet.
It's obviously different, but you guys did just go through it. Does that help your team know, hey, this is how we handled it with Dave, so this is how we handle it with Jalen?
You know, maybe, Matt. You guys come up with every angle that you can possibly think of. I don't know that it helps at all. I don't know I think with the COVID stuff, I don't really see it being a huge advantage because I think each individual is different by the way he handles his I don't want to use the word symptoms. That sounds like he has them, but the way he handles the fatigue symptoms and things like that when they come back. And we were fortunate with David, even though he got a little tired, he didn't look like he'd been off 10 days. He may have looked like he'd been off 3 or 4.
Hey, Coach, you guys are going from one duo of brothers to another. What did you guys maybe learn from facing off against the Groves brothers, and what have you seen from the Mobley brothers?
Well, the Groves brothers wore us out. They both did. I mean, both of them probably had as good a games as they've had all year long. You know, they combined to make 9 threes, and I think they'd made 29 or something like that over the course combined during the whole season in 30 games or whatever it was. So they were terrific. They were terrific. I don't really know the correlation between playing a set of brothers to playing USC's Mobley brothers. They're totally different. You know, other than the fact they're both tall, all 4 of them are tall, totally different type players. And certainly we'll try to compensate with the Mobley's length and athletic ability and skill set by trying to do things that probably a little bit different than what we did with the Groves brothers.
Bill, John Worrell with the Associated Press. Any significance of being, I believe this is the first time you're playing at Hinkle ever. Any significance to that? Well,
I don't know that there's any significance, but that was one of the things that I said all along. I hope we get a chance to play in Hinkle. I haven't been there. Of course, been a fan of it, you know, since the movie came out, obviously, and you know, we play in a field house that's very similar to Hinkle. And if I remember right, I'm watching the TV the other day and you can see the sunshine coming through on the court and stuff like that. And I'm a big history guy when it comes to our sports. So I would love to play in Hinkle and I'd love to play in the Palestra. Those are 2 places that I really, really like to play. And of course, get the opportunity obviously tomorrow.
Do you have time to just even look around and look at the nooks and crannies and just what's there? No,
I mean, I'll look around the inside the building, but I won't be able to walk. I won't walk around. I don't even know if they'd let us even walk around. But I'll certainly study it. I'll probably study it and compare it to Allen, how old the building is and the feel and that kind of stuff. I don't know when Hinkle was built. You probably do. But that would be stuff I'd like to know personally about the building. I don't think that'll be anything to interest or motivate players, but you know, every player will see the movie Hoosiers, and you know, we'll certainly make sure they understand that's where we're playing.
And Bill, what are you seeing from Evan Mobley, just in particular and specifically?
Well, he's unbelievably talented. He's extremely skilled. He can play behind the arc and certainly play within it, and he can put the ball down. And he's a 7-footer that he can play with his back to the basket, obviously, but he'd probably rather face. Great passer. He's a few pounds away from being an NBA All-Star. He's that good. That's a big challenge. You think about Texas's length and how much they bothered us with Kai Jones and Sims and Brown. I see the same type of stuff, but I think that Evan's even longer than those guys. I think he's even longer than Kai Jones. And Kai Jones, to me, was, he was hard to guard because his one step equaled our two. And so we got to do a great job of keeping him in front of us, but still yet pressuring him and not letting him get to his spots.
You get up for for practice, and hopefully you have good energy for the team, but then you have that long gap before tip.
Yeah.
How will you spend that time before a 9:30, 10 o'clock tip?
Yeah, it's Kenitra. We played late games before in the tournament. I don't know that we've ever played one any later than this. But it's going to be a long day tomorrow. I wish our practice was later so you could let the guys lay in bed till 11 or 12 to kind of shorten the day a little bit. But we'll practice, and then I'm going to tell them all to go take a nap and watch games and get off their feet. And so if we practice at 11:30 tomorrow, I think that's the time. Is that the time, guys? 11:30. So we practice at 11:30 tomorrow. I'm thinking by 1 o'clock, guys, hey, get a shower, lay down, watch games, whatever, and then let's get up and let's start moving again by about 4. So, but it does make for a long day, but we'll try to break it up as much as we can.
So does Jalen have to take a test tomorrow when he gets to Indy?
No, Gary, not to my knowledge.
Okay.
The guys that have contracted COVID in the last 90 days or whatever, they're not subject to testing. So, if there is a positive that comes out of this, hey, David and Jalen won't be tested, and Tristan if he can get here. So, but no, there won't be a COVID test for those guys.
David said he flew up with the chancellor and the AD. How will Jalen get here?
I don't know who will be on the plane with him, but he'll have the same type of accommodations as what David did.
You had mentioned wanting that late tip on Monday just to make sure you could get Jalen back and that you'd have a little time with him.
Well, when I said wanting a late tip, I was thinking more, around the 5 or 6 range. I wasn't thinking midnight, but you're right, Scott. I'd rather play when we're playing than play at 2. Because if you play at 2, it eliminates your shoot around and that kind of stuff. So now Jalen will get a chance to have a shoot around and that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that was something that was maybe intentionally done just for?
No, I don't think so. I don't know how anything was. I don't know anything like that. I think we got fortunate, and Virginia got fortunate too, by us both playing on Saturday. But I think once that occurred, I think it's all based on TV slots.
Hey, Coach, Dave McCormick said that guarding your man and getting back to that defensive mindset would be important against USC. Do you agree with that assessment?
Yeah, absolutely. It should be our mindset, regardless of who we play. But I think yesterday we played better defense than the score because if we play a big that can really shoot the 3, that is going to be a problem for us. And I believe they made 7 threes against our 5-man. And we know that's going to be an issue. So we didn't guard very well. What we did a poor job of yesterday is the more we pressured, the more unsound we were. So pressure in our guys' minds meant gamble. And we could have been more sound, at least the way that I saw the game. But I did think our effort was pretty good. We guarded our butts off in certain stretch of that game to hold them to 84. That's how good I thought Eastern Washington was yesterday.
You need to get this one back down in the 60s. Is that where you want to finish?
I've always thought I had a kid at Tulsa that was a lot smarter than me. He was a chemical engineer major. He ended up playing in the league for a while. And I told them one day, this is what we have to do to win. We have to do this to win, to be successful. And his question to me is right then, he said, so coach, if that doesn't happen, if we don't do that, it means we can't win. And I said, okay, you're smarter than me. So no, it doesn't. We'll just have to adjust. And so to answer your question, of course I would like it a little bit lower. But if it's not, doesn't mean we still can't be successful. But I would think the percentage play would be, a game that's not in the 80s.
There you go.
Yeah.
As the
Coach,
VC
seeing all the Big 12 teams, the Big 12 went 6-1 in the first round of the tournament. I know you guys aren't looking, to all these teams and whatnot, but just seeing the Big 12 go 6-1 in the first round, what does that speak of the league and as a whole?
Well, it's a great league, and the one game last night. I don't know if you guys saw that game.
It was a tough game.
That Abilene Christian team, I think, played as hard as any team I've ever seen play any game. I mean, they were flying around, and it was really fun to watch. Obviously disappointing for Texas because Texas tried hard too. And of course, it came down to a somewhat controversial play. But the Big 12 has done well so far. But in order to really prove your mettle as a group, get to the second weekend. So I think it's been good so far, but it needs to continue to happen in order to take claim that our league is actually what everybody else said it was. And of course I know it and I believe it. I know how hard it is to win games in our league. But it would be nice to see, we have several teams, hopefully 6, advance to the Sweet 16.
Sure.
Has the VCU situation saddened you and concerned a lot of the kids?
You know what? I haven't talked to we talked to the players about it, but only briefly, just the importance of being smart. But, I don't want to sound remotely indifferent about it, but the hay's in the barn, guys. If we contracted something, it was something before we got here, so, yeah, we're nervous. We're nervous every time that we stick that Q-tip up our nose and wait on the results. Yeah, we're nervous. Every team is right now because it only takes something like that to happen to now you're contact tracing out, you're doing a lot of different things. But if there's positives, and I'm not saying 100%, but if there's positive that occurred, it probably occurred before you got here. Probably. Now, that doesn't mean it's positively true, but probably. Everybody's going on, what is it, 6 days that they've been here? I would think that there would be some relief if you can get through a couple of more days with all teams, that you would say, okay, the teams that are able to advance, there's been enough time go by that we feel like the bubble has protected us. And right now, I think the bubble has protected us, but not to the point where if it happened before the bubble, who knows? So.
Got time for a couple more.
Hey,
Is it hard to keep it straight because there are different venues in different counties within the state, and different counties have rules as far as their health department?
Yeah, that could be true, Kenitra, but I thought we're staying in, is it Marion County? And I thought Marion County is where all the teams are staying. So I think Marion County is the one that passes judgment on or rules on what the protocols and procedures are. I don't know that anything that happened in Bloomington and Purdue now, that's done, isn't it? I mean, it's done. So I don't know that anything that happened there you'd still be staying here. So I don't know which county is the one that takes precedent, but I would think it'd be the one where they're residing.
Hey, what's your trust level with DeJuan? And you guys have talked plenty about what he brings to the team, but where's your trust with him at? And also, did you think it would be here or at this level at this point?
I honestly doubted it pretty seriously after Christmas. I thought he did some really good things, but I thought he played timid or not very aggressive for a stretch. I didn't think he played confidently. And, you know, if you have a little guy like that that's not active and getting after it, then the advantage goes to the bigger guy. But my confidence level with him is really, really high. You know, other than the fact that he's going to shoot a 13-foot floater with 1 minute left, up 9. You know, I thought yesterday he played about as well as an individual could play based on his role. I thought he was absolutely terrific.
Have you
not just a wand, but what does it take for any player to earn your trust?
I trust our guys. I mean, but I think consistency probably. You know, I've always thought, you know, you could play somebody and heck, it's like money in the bank. You know, it's not drawing much interest at all, but it's safe, and that's kind of what I would think. If you trust somebody but somebody that you know that will compete, and competing is understanding, competing is preparation, competing is obviously working hard, practicing hard. But if guys are able to give us those sorts of things, you know, you do trust, and you give those guys more leeway than guys where everything is magnified to first screw up because you don't really trust.
Have you had anyone like him?
Coaching ever?
Yeah, at Kansas for sure, but ever?
I don't know about it. I don't think we have at Kansas. I can't remember us having a guy like that at Kansas. At Illinois, we didn't have anybody like that. You had to weigh 220 pounds to play at Illinois back when we were there because we were so big. And at Tulsa, you know, I had some quick little guys, but nobody that frail. Nobody that weighs 155 pounds or 160 pounds. But you know, he uses that to his advantage too, which is pretty clever on his part.
All right, Coach. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.